Welcome to our second session on conservation of energy at homes. In the previous session, we got an idea about how we use our energy and the basic avenues to save them. In this session, we will be going into further details regarding the same. Let's start with lighting. Lighting represents a major consumer of energy in housing societies and our homes. There are different types of lighting which all give us light but consume different amounts of energy. For example, a 60-watt incandescent lamp gives us the same light which you would get from a 15-watt CFL or a 7-watt LED. It makes very good sense to replace an incandescent lamp with an LED even if you operate it for 1 hour a day. And it makes very good sense to replace a CFL with an LED lamp if it operates for more than 6 hours a day. Care is required for selection of the LED so that its design and quality are good. LED lamps are available in various types of fittings so that they can replace the existing lamps easily. We also have LED tube lights which are much more energy efficient than the conventional fluorescent tube lights. Again, if your fluorescent tube light is operating for more than 6 hours a day, you have a good case for replacing it with an LED tube light. Coming to the best practices for lighting, the first and foremost is to create awareness so that lights are switched off when not in use. The second thing is that when we are using light for a specific task, the lighting should be concentrated over there and the whole space or the room which the task is performed need not be illuminated to that high level. The third aspect is to use natural light during the day whenever possible. And lastly, to maintain our luminaires or the fixtures in which the lamps are placed so that dust etc. does not reduce the light output for them. Energy savings in lighting can also be achieved by providing timer and photo sensor based control, especially for outdoor lights which can switch off if sufficient daylight is available. Also, areas which are not frequently visited can be installed with motion sensors where the lighting switches on only if some motion is detected and at all other times it is switched off. The next energy consuming equipment in our homes is a refrigerator. In a refrigerator, the energy consumed is mainly for the compressor which has an on-off control. If the temperature inside the refrigerator is reached, then the compressor switches off, and when the temperature is more than the set point, the compressor is on and it helps to cool the space inside the refrigerator and reject it to the atmosphere around the refrigerator through the condenser. Refrigerator technology has improved greatly over the years. An old refrigerator of 200 liter storage capacity would consume more than 2 units a day. However, a refrigerator of the same capacity of 5-star rating today consumes less than 0.8 units per day. Each time we open the refrigerator door and the longer we keep it open, more outside air enters the refrigerated space. The refrigerator compressor has to work longer to maintain the temperature inside the refrigerator. Thus, to save energy in refrigerators, we have to minimize the outside air entering the refrigerator by minimizing door opening time and ensuring that the door of the refrigerator is properly sealed. We also need to allow sufficient space around the refrigerator so that the condenser can function properly and reject heat outside the refrigerator efficiently. If we place hot food directly into the refrigerator has to spend more energy to first cool it to room temperature and then cool it further. To save energy, hot food should first be allowed to cool to room temperature and then placed inside the refrigerator for further cooling. We should organize the contents of our refrigerator so that excess material is not required to be cooled. Also, we should defrost the refrigerator regularly so that ice accumulation is not happening inside the refrigerator and on the cooling coils. Talking of fans, technology improvements have happened in fans over the last few years. A conventional fan with a normal regulator would consume about 75 watt. A 5-star rated fan around 40 to 50 watt, and super efficient fans with brushless DC motors would consume anywhere between 8 to 35 watt depending on the speed at which it is operated. So for fans operating more than 8 hours a day, it makes very good sense to use efficient fans as a replacement for them. Today, more and more people are buying air conditioners for comfort at their homes. While buying a new air conditioner, it should be ensured that it is the most efficient one. In this context, the Government of India has, in collaboration with Energy Efficiency Services Limited (EESL), come up with a scheme for providing highly efficient air conditioning systems at subsidized prices. One should look at this before buying a new air conditioner. Coming to the best practices for air conditioning, the set temperatures should be above 24 degrees. This ensures comfort conditions as well as minimal energy consumption for the AC operation. Proper maintenance of an air conditioner is of extreme importance. The refrigerant pressures should be checked regularly and condenser coils cleaning should be done regularly. This will ensure the energy efficient operation of the air conditioner. Using a combination of air conditioner and simple fans helps to raise the set temperature without compromising on the comfort. This helps to save energy at the air conditioner. In areas which are dry in nature, we can use air coolers to the extent possible instead of using an air conditioner. This helps to save energy. Washing machines have become a part of our everyday life. It consumes around 1 unit electricity and about 60 to 80 liters of water with every cycle. The least we can do to save these resources is to run a full load washing cycle and try to use sun drying to the extent possible to reduce the energy used for this. Electric geysers are used in homes for hot water for bathing. Over the years, the efficiencies of these equipments have improved. Earlier, just leaving a geyser on for 24 hours used to consume anything between 2 to 3 units. This loss, which is called as a standing loss, has reduced now to 0.4 to 0.6 units over 24 hours. However, the type of geyser you choose helps to increase the efficiency for this particular equipment. Instantaneous geysers have a small storage capacity and a smaller standing loss. However, they are slow in reacting and it may be required to collect the hot water in a bucket and then use it. For other geysers where you have a storage capacity, 15 liters, 25 liters are most common for homes. Here you have some storage, so you get hot water instantly and you can use it for showers, etc. Alternatives to using an electric geyser are a gas geyser and solar water heating systems. Solar water heating systems are a proven technology and have been running successfully over the last 40 years. Solar energy gives sufficient hot water for 300 to 320 days a year. Solar hot water systems are sized according to the liters per day capacity. Generally, for a family of 4, 125 liters per day is sufficient. Gas cooking can be made more efficient if we use the suitable vessels which are large enough, bigger than the flame. We can put a cover or use pressure cookers to the extent possible. And when we are frying, the last part of the cooking can happen in the hot oil itself without the gas being in use. Other tips include to thaw the refrigerated items before taking up for cooking, soaking rice and similar items in water before the start of cooking, and avoid reheating of food for various members of the family and try and eat together. It is quite amazing how the sun can be used for cooking. There are various designs of solar cookers available, and these are very effective in cooking daily items like rice, dal, potatoes, groundnuts, and so many more. You can even bake with solar cookers. I hope you liked this session and you will be able to incorporate some of the tips mentioned in your daily life to save energy. In the next session, we will be talking about energy efficient use of petrol diesel vehicles and the use of electric vehicles in their comparison. Here are a few questions which will help you to practice your energy calculation skills. These are practical examples of how you can save energy. If you have any doubts or questions or suggestions and answers to these questions, do write to me on puneet.hegde@gmail.com.